Okay, you are now live.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. So what's up? I'm Oofster, and we got Jaxler on commentary.
Hey, what's good, everyone? Vol was supposed to be here tonight, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, so I'll be filling in.
Yeah, so this is essentially the NG Plus category in this game, or as the title suggests, we get the powers early, and this allows us to bypass a lot of token requirements, and there's not much to explain before the run, so let's just get into it. I'll count down from 3 to start the run. So that's 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, good luck.
Thanks. And right at the beginning here, here's the cheat to get the powers, and immediately here I'm gonna try to do a down clip. What I'm doing there is I'm hitting pause really quickly twice in succession, and then immediately after doing a guitar input, and that allows me to clip through the floor like that, and we'll be doing that a lot throughout the run. And this is called No Cheese Out of Bounds.
Yep, and so he's going to actually have to do that a couple more times here coming up, because for the end level token of this level, there's a massive invisible wall around it, so he's actually going to need to clip underneath the floor here.
Yeah.
And if you're in like a floor, in certain types of floor spaces in this game, your head kind of sticks in and you can keep jumping. And so he's going to abuse that property in order to kind of jump underneath the invisible
I almost
wall.
fell in the void.
And he's going to get the up clip right through.
Dude, I got the one for him. Let's go.
I got the, okay. So what he just did there is called a token warp. There is a, depending on the token, a 1 to 2 frame window where you can pause as you get the collectible, and it lets you skip the token grab animation. So right here as well, you're going to see Oofster pretty much immediately break to the end of the level here. This jump is a little bit annoying to back up.
Yeah.
He's essentially gonna jump on the lamp right there, and then do what's kind of called a slope jump, and just immediately beat the level. So there's like a lot of bits of geometry in this game that look like, just like walls or like nothing, but like you can just kind of rub against them and get your double jumps back, and Oofster used that there to clear over the wall and get straight to the end of the level.
Yeah, I hope you didn't blink during that. Like, it was, there's a couple levels like that go by really fast, because you can just get the end token and just move on. There's really no backtracking in this category at all, because it's really just a straight shot to the finish, since we're not kind of brought down by like token requirements.
Yeah, so like for example in that last level there's like a bunch of other tokens that we get and do like sequence breaks for, but in early powers you just ignore all of that.
Yeah. So this is the first driving level of the game, and we're gonna collect what are called nitros, and they're essentially mushrooms from Mario Kart. So you're gonna see us, you're gonna see me cut through some like off-road here, and the main concept here is just managing your nitros. And there's also a trick later on that I'm gonna do. It's called SD Out of Bounds, where we hit like an invisible trigger, and we're gonna and then like backtrack and then hit like a dirt mound and with a nitro and then get out of bounds.
Yeah, so like
cool.
Similar to a Mario Kart game, there's like a bunch of triggers in the level where like you have to cross that trigger in order for like the game to register that you are on course. So it's like sort of to prevent like people from like doing ridiculous shortcuts on like some of the more like circle shaped ones. So this is what Oofster was talking about. So he's gonna drive a little bit ahead in here of this dump truck and hit the trigger, and then immediately turn around, and then I'm gonna let him focus here because this trick can be kind of annoying.
I think we should turn around.
Oh, we barely got it. Let's go.
Nice. Well done. Oh, that's actually a new setup. There was an older setup where you did it on a different dirt map.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
you
you
used
used to,
and it sucked.
yeah, you used to do it without a nitro there, but that one's actually a few seconds faster, and it's like you only get 2 attempts at it, but it's a lot more consistent. So we've been doing that setup for a bit now. Yeah, but that's basically the end of the level. That trick saves around like 10 seconds. It's pretty nice time save for sure.
Edge of town?
Yeah, and especially in some of the other categories, like all tokens, where you have to do that driving level a couple of times, like,
Yeah,
and it's up to
yeah,
like
you have to
40.
do that trick. I was playing that category earlier, and like trying to get that 3 times in a row is like, it's just pain.
Alright, so now we're heading into 3,000 miles to Shell City. We usually just, in the movie community, abbreviate it to 3K. This is one of the levels that's like a lot different than you would approach it in like a no pause storage run.
Yeah.
So he's going to bash the platform there, and you're going to see him do a trick coming up here called a bash boost, where he's going to double jump from a faraway point on that platform, and that registers that spot as a safe point where you get knocked back to if you hit the water like that. And if you buffer the bash button, you actually bash the first frame that you come out of damage. And so he used that to be able to go out of bounds and does another lag clip in order to up warp, down warp through the floor here, and then remain out of bounds here. Now he's going to do the trick again where he intentionally gets himself under the floor and keeps jumping so that he can kind of keep going underneath the level here, and then he's going to go to up to a certain point here and look to get around the ledge here. And then because it was early powers, we have access to the guitar already. So what Oofster's going to do is use it and hit this button, which is just barely in range from out of bounds. And hitting that button will actually teleport Spongebob to a predetermined location, and just let him get straight to the end of the level. And all he has to do is just hit the buttons now.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite level in this category because it just goes by so fast. And I got the instant token grab too, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah, that's solid. And here's the first sliding level in the game. Or it's called Rub-a-Dub slip slide in the tub. We just abbreviate it to Rub-a-Dub, but
Yeah.
here we're kind of just destroying Plankton's propaganda towers, and we actually like skip some of the 2, or yeah, we skipped like 2 of them by doing there's a trick called Dumb Jump. Do
Yeah, it's called Dumb Jump because it's dumb. It's actually not that hard, but like it's the ultimate noob slayer trick. In addition to some other stuff, but yeah, he's gonna go for it right here. So what he's looking to do is curve up on the left side of this ramp and then start to straighten out, and he has to delay his jump so that he makes use of the coyote time to get extra horizontal distance. And then on top of that, if you leave like too early, so you won't get like the discontinue. But if you leave too late, sometimes you just lose all your speed.
yeah.
So that's why we call it dumb jump. Is sometimes it's just done like that.
Yeah, and I would like to note like the coyote frames. Movie has about half a second of time to jump, like a half second, after you leave a ledge. And that allows this dumb jump to happen.
Yeah, so Oofster took another shortcut there to skip, and there's some enemies that you'll see him bonk into but not kill. If you do dumb jump first try without dying, it actually despawns those enemies, which in some cases can kind of affect manliest point routing, which we can talk about a little bit more when that becomes important.
The melee routing is pretty tight in this run, but there's some stacks we can get. We get the Jack Lack and money strat later on.
Yeah, so even though like in the category we start out with all the powers, we're not allowed to upgrade them in this category unless we're doing it through like normal means, like through the point system. There's a cheat where there's a difference between the cheat that gives you the abilities and the ones that gives you them all upgraded. So we just take the former for this category.
Yeah, but that's what it did. It says we have all towers destroyed, but in reality we only have like 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
it's pretty epic.
Alright, so now we're coming into this is one of my favorite levels in the category too, which is Bubble Bowling Baby Hunt. So similar to what we saw in Depression, the levels are kind of built in such a way that they all kind of eventually wrap around on themselves. So the way that this level works is you go like all the way around the I don't even know, the Spittoon? No, this isn't Salty Spittoon, wrong episode.
It's
so essentially what you're going to see him do is a series of 2-frame jumps. So there is it takes 30 It takes 2 frames until you start experiencing the momentum of a slide. So Oofster is timing basically 2-frame jumps in order to resist the pull of the slide and jump about halfway up to the slide. And what he does there is hit a trigger that sort of cues the end of level fight to happen, and then he can just grab the configure token and finish the level. That was pretty good. So those jumps are a lot harder than they look, because if you land the first of the 2 available frames, you get 2 jumps. But if you land the second frame, you only get 1. And so as you learn how to do that trick and other applications of it, you have to get really good at the visual tells whether or not you get a single or double jump there. So it can be really tricky. But Oof managed to actually save it despite having a little bit of a mishap there, so that was pretty good.
And then I got game ended by the spinner, but we don't talk about that.
But there's one thing that has to go wrong during the run. That's like the one thing that has to be,
Yeah, no, this run's pretty solid so far, though. But this is no weenie parking anytime. The goal of this level is essentially to get these 5 keys around the stage, and we basically have to drive like 2 laps around in order for the last key to fall. But there is we can speed up some of the keys. Like this one up here, we can actually like turn around and do it. It's called a Conquer 2 key.
Yeah, it's in theory possible to grab all 5 keys in 1 lap, but it actually ends up being slower because that first key that you see there, it like takes forever to get to. There's like a bunch of cool out of bounds stuff that you can mess around with.
I think it ultimately loses like a second, but it's just not RTA viable, unfortunately.
Yeah. Even if it did save time, no one would really go for it.
Yeah.
But I know, like, this is another one of those levels where there's a bunch of those like lap triggers that that are invisible, but you have to go through them in order for the game to register that you're doing a successful lap. And there's been like a lot of experimentation with like going out of bounds and trying to hit those lap triggers from out of bounds, but some of them can be pretty small, and we haven't really found any way to make use of the out of bounds yet. But it's a lot of fun to mess with because you can do some really silly things.
Yeah, and I'd like to note we actually hit that stack here. So, you see that TNT stack there. We actually want to die on that because it loses about a second, but it nets us like 80 or 300 manlies. So you kind of need it for this category because you just lose so many by like not doing like BBH forward, for example.
Yeah. Which is kind of a route variation from, so like the most common category that people run is no pause storage, which is kind of our equivalent any percent, because any percent in this game is weird. I'll just put it that way. In no pause storage, we actually just grab the key and then pause the game, and then you can re-warp to that level, and the gate just opens, and you can skip the whole 3rd lap that way as well. But the old strat was we just went backwards. Alright, we are now in Frogfish. This is the first boss. You saw that Oofster upgraded Slam. So the upgraded Slam deals more damage, and it also has the property of stunning things that are around it. So he's going to use the cartwheel to get Frogfish out of this sort of charging phase. And then what Frogfish is going to end up doing is going into a phase where she sticks her tongue into the ground, and then you have to damage it from there. And so what Oofster's going to try to do, after, I believe, one more cartwheel. Sorry, my timing for this is, like, commentary-wise is messed up, because no pause storage, which is what I primarily run, you have upgraded cartwheel here.
Yeah, I'd like to note you don't upgrade cartwheel here, because it's just, you don't really need it in this route. Like, it only speeds up this boss fight, and I think it's about 20 seconds difference, but, like, you need the mailiness points for, like, other things, so that's why you don't upgrade it.
Yeah, so what you saw Oofster do there is actually sort of a phase skip using the upgraded Slam, where if he spaces it properly on the first hit, the shockwave will actually stun the tongue even after he gets the hit, which allows him to get a free opening. And then with if he's fast enough, the hitbox for the tongue is actually there, even though the visual for it hasn't appeared yet and come out of the ground. So you can actually just like completely like rinse through the boss once it gets to that phase.
And here we go.
Nice.
Skydive.
So that's actually really hard. You can't really see it very well with the fade in, but it's like a 2-frame, I think, to get that jump.
it's not that precise. But essentially there, we just time a double jump as soon as the level fades in, and we go on this back section of the stage, and we're actually gonna fall on a later part of the stage, and it saves about 10 seconds.
Yeah, Oofster has to be a bit careful here with when he chooses to go off the slope, because even though we're really high up, there are massive kill planes that he has to deal with. So he's going to be looking for a rock down here, and then once he slides off of that rock, he's going to turn back towards the camera and land on the slide, and that will allow him to start to get moving again and then jump back in bounds.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Rockslide is like a pretty long sliding level casually. It's still decently chunky in the speedrun, but there's a lot of stuff that we can do. Like right here, he's just going to fall right off, and the kill plane's too small. So he's also like trying to make sure that he cuts off a little bit early so he can get that stack, because again, the manliness point route is super tight.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we have upgraded guitar by the end for the final boss.
For sure. You also notice I just do little corner cuts like these. It's just every little bit counts, especially in a category this short. And up here, I'm actually gonna buffer, or try to buffer, a 1-frame boost. I think I got it. Yeah, there we go. Like if you jump on that piece of rock on the right frame, you can just get a boost that saves like 3 seconds, and there's a later boost that saves around 5 seconds. Pretty nice time save.
Yeah, so lag buffering is something that hasn't come up as much yet in this category because we just haven't been getting a lot of tokens other than like end-level tokens. But essentially, when you like pause and unpause the game, it causes a boatload of lag, and you can use that to kind of like advance the game at like a slower frame rate and like time your inputs a lot more precisely. And that's something that's used a lot in no pause storage to do token warps. Although Oofster didn't really have to do that because he just nailed the first one like a god.
So many choices, so little time.
Yeah, we're just kind of big chilling here for a bit until we get to one more skip. This is the one that always kind of scares me a little bit.
It's pretty scary if you mess it up. And it loses you a bit of time too. I think I got it. There we go. Let's go. That looks so cool when you actually get that.
Yeah. So something to note as well, Oofster's playing on an original Xbox. So Xbox version in general was typically fastest for multi-platform releases because of the loading times. But he's actually playing on like an original Xbox instead of a backwards compatible 360. Because lag behaves differently between OG and 360. And on 360 you can't really do lag buffers in the same way that you could on OG. There's some other like discrepancies that like kind of add up, but we don't really have that much time to talk about it because we're going into now that we're men. Yeah, so pretty much immediately here you're gonna say Oofster bowl a shot and upgrade Sponge Bowl. Sponge Bowl upgraded is super overpowered in this game. He's gonna use it here in order to like nail a trick shot here. And then, while the platforms are rising up, he's going to double jump down to them, and that skips an enemy intro cutscene. And then from here, he can also use like the well, you can use the rock in the sun. I guess you don't really. Oh, that's right, because you do a guitar wall clip through there. As well.
So here I do what's called a guitar glide clip, and it puts us into this state where you can only spin to move, and it allows us to go down to a later portion of the stage. And I'm gonna actually attempt, it's called lobster skip here. Just give me a second.
This is really tricky.
That's rough.
I fell through the level. That's okay. Well, you'll get to see the guitar glide again, which is a really cool trick. So is that for that specific application of it? It's actually a combination of one of the like the lag clips we've been seeing with the start buffers, as well as the guitar glide. All you need to do is just hit the guitar button while you're on like certain like parts of wall jump platforms, and it just kind of works. And then if you mash the spin button, you can you have horizontal drift while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So he's gonna attempt the wall clip again here. Nailed it. Now he's gonna go for the guitar clip.
Oh my god! I actually hit the floor there, and it actually canceled my guitar glide. That's rough. That's pretty rare too. Only in a marathon.
Yeah, those like wall clips where you get the guitar glide going at the same time are really hard, because not only are you trying to time the R press in order to get the guitar glide going, but you also have to like time your start press as well. They're also way harder on 360 because you kind of have to mash to make it work.
Yeah, because you have to use...
It is possible, but like... I was kind of like the only person who ever like really figured it out, and then everyone was just like, let's just do this on OG because this is way better. And I don't blame them. So you got the guitar glide clip again here, so he's just going to hover through until he finds a spot in the wall. Are you going to go for the skip again here?
Yeah, I gotta go for it. It's really swag.
It is so hype.
I was doing it really well earlier.
But, like, he just fell a tad too far and couldn't get his head stuck back in the floor.
There we go. I'm actually going to play it safe here, wait for this spitter to hit. There we go.
Yep, and then just up clip through the floor, and then you're good to go. Nicely done.
Thank you. Yeah, but that, I waited there, because that flinger enemy can actually hit you into the void, and it's really sad.
Yeah. Alright, so coming up in the second half of Now That We're Men, we're going to do a bit of a puzzle skip here. So you can just... Oh, you went for the bash. I hate this bash so much.
It's so frustrating. But
and then he's going to do a really precise double jump right there to get a ledge grab, and that lets him skip the whole puzzle there. And then I'm going to let him focus for this next trick because this one involves another lag buffer, but this is really hype, so I'll just let you all enjoy.
Feeling like more of a man already.
there we go. And
Nicely done.
thank you. And what I did there was I buffered a one frame jump, because basically like any frame perfect input you can just apply a buffer to. So that's what I did there. After like bouncing off the monster's eyelash there.
Yeah, so more specifically, when you so you saw him earlier like buffer, like you can just buffer a bash out of like bouncing off the lava there. But in order to get like a double jump, you have to hit a frame perfect input to get like 2 jumps out of taking damage from something like that. So that's why he went for the buffer there. Alright, so right there he did a specific jump there here at the start of SCDA to skip a cutscene, and now he's gonna do something called toilet skip.
I try to be swag and do it as fast as possible.
The really risky you continue the cartwheel setup.
Yeah,
so
I've been doing that lately. That was
it's not easy. Alright, we'll give it another shot.
There we go.
That looks perfect. So there's like a whole nasty web of invisible walls there that prevent you from doing that, but we don't really care. You're supposed to hit a button to close the toilet lid and use that as a platform. That sucks.
That has literally never happened before. That was awesome. But here I'm gonna do a somewhat precise damage boost off the enemy spawning here.
Yeah, so what he's gonna do is take the damage as he's falling off to store the momentum into the ice block. And if he continues to jump at the top of his arc, he gains enough speed to actually get all the way up and out of bounds. And then from here, he can actually cartwheel to a later platform here and completely skip a bunch of the platform in there. There's like a really annoying, like, slippery metal pole section, but you just don't have to worry about it. Yeah. It's pretty excellent.
And I actually have to backtrack here to get a invisible trigger for this Spongebob level here. We don't actually have to do the Spongebob level, but we'll need that to do Mindy skip later.
Yeah. So you'll get to see that in a bit, but like just hitting that, oh, I didn't know there was that ledge grab.
Yeah.
Ledge grab skip.
That was fun pretty recently. It's pretty swag.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start going for that. It looks annoying, but
it's not that bad. Just gotta practice it.
Yeah. So no pause storage, this is where we'd be doing 3 meter skip, but we're not going to be doing that, we're just going to be doing the Jack-a-lack-a-money strat.
Yeah.
This is where you cartwheel here, Skip the ledge grab. Nice. And then if he goes over to the side here and just jumps around, he can just clip through the other side of the pipe and skip another TV he'd have to break. He's actually going to backtrack a little bit there to hit that massive metal crate stack, which gives him a lot of manliness points, which is super, super critical.
Yeah, this is very important for this route.
A bit of a combat skip there, where he can use the propeller, and he's going to upgrade throw. So what upgraded throw allows you to do is do like a charge throw. And actually lets you like auto target on buttons that are like really far away. Unfortunately, didn't get the hit there because you are on kind of like a cycle where an enemy called a Merv kind of gets in the way of the button after a bit of time. So you kind of have to go like really, really quick if you want the optimal cycle. Nice. So you got the second button cycle at the very least as a backup, and now we're at the end of SCDA, so that wasn't not too bad.
Yeah, we can actually hit this TV with upgraded throw all the way back from here instead of going on the trampolines to get really close. Yeah, I love that.
I love that strat.
Yeah,
I will tell you that the worst feeling in the world is missing that.
That's true.
Alright, now we're going into Dennis 1. This is like one of my favorite boss fights in the whole game. He's gonna go ahead and lob a couple of charge shots at him until he gets to a certain point. And what he's gonna do after the second hit is try to time the charge throw as he's landing on the platform. And that essentially does a double hit for when he's both landing on it and mid-air, and you can essentially stack double hits and quick kill him. It's really, really sick.
Yeah,
and
I hope you didn't
on top of that, he
that.
also hit the token whip. So there's supposed to be like a token grab cutscene at the end there, and an extra story cutscene with Dennis. But he managed to skip both of them by getting the correct frame to pause.
Yeah, right there I did A input and then a start input the very next frame. Very, very precise. That was good though. Right, here's Sunday driving. You'll notice the funny peanut looking dude called Goofy Goober, and essentially the goal of this level is to not let him get ahead of you too much, but like you don't even see him now, but we have to follow a specific path this first lap and a half, or that's cause if we try to take any shortcuts in that first lap and a half, we're gonna face the consequences from Goob.
Yeah, because it's essentially a chase mission where you're trying to chase down Goofy Goober to find your way out of here. And if you take a shortcut, you lose his scent. But he's actually making specific use, he's kind of to a degree conserving a lot of his nitros here, except for some very specific minor shortcuts. Because he's actually going to be doing a specific boost pattern with these nitros in order to get so far ahead of Goofy Goober that he actually completely unloads.
Yeah.
And when Goofy Goober is unloaded, you actually don't have the same level of restrictions as to what path you can take. And so as a result, this lets us take some really cool shortcuts and stuff like that. Which
I'm going to be doing spiral skipping Sunday jumps, so...
Ooh.
Yeah, I've pulled out all the stops for this run, doing everything I would do in like a World Record attempt. Yeah, but we're almost done with that lap and a half, and we'll be able to take some pretty cool shortcuts.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like the first lap of this level is like super boring. Yeah, so he has 3 nitros here, so now he's gonna ram through the shortcut. And with the rest of these nitros, he's going to boost ahead of Goob here, so he's going to have like 4 by now. He's also like using them in a specific way, such as right there. Oh, nicely done. And so now he's like really, really far ahead of...
Yeah, you don't even have to like spam nitros. I think I do have like an extra one, but with those tricks, you're so far ahead of him that he's just like... I don't know, he's just in his own universe.
Yeah. The rest of the second lap is also just super long, so that ends up saving it. Like, that's a really nice shortcut.
There we go.
Oh my gosh! So, I used to be told that jump was slower, but I used to do, like, the old setup. So that's, like, a really risky way of doing that shortcut.
You can get stuck in a rock there and lose, like, 2 or 3 minutes.
It's really scary. That's actually super duper impressive that you hit that.
Yeah, it only saves like 3 or 4 seconds too. Just everything.
But like there's a way easier method of doing that where you kind of just boost into a rail.
Yeah,
But
that
I
one.
leave it based
Yeah,
on
that
the
one
purple.
loses a second, I think.
Which
Yeah, but that was a
seems
solid Sunday. That was really good.
Yeah.
Some extra nitros. To spin.
You go for those skips and no pause storage as well, or just for the
Yeah, I do it in all the categories. I've gotten really good at them.
Oh gosh, I can't imagine doing that like
Dude,
two more times
doing
and
that-
all
Dude.
tokens.
Yeah, I know. It really saves a lot of time though. Like saves like a minute in that category if you do it on the time challenges.
Unfortunate. Alright, so this is guest. Are you going for guest jumps?
Or no, I this isn't no pause storage, so I don't have to backtrack to guess 2.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, because you kind
Yeah,
of need
this
the
is-
manlies here anyway, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, this is basically like the no backtracking category. Kinda
That's right. Yeah.
it's I don't know. It's like Mu's kinda known for all the extraneous backtracking, but this category just speeds right through it and doesn't make you do it because you don't need any extra tokens. And right here you saw that we hit all these faucets and it was suppressing the level, and I actually strategically death warped there so I could spawn as close to this portion as possible.
Yeah, it's also really important that as soon as he loads into the checkpoint, he jumps, because otherwise, like a 3-second cutscene will play as well.
Yeah, the cutscene trigger is surprisingly like, really tiny, so you can just do like a single jump over it.
Yeah, and so he's gonna be taking a really cool route through here. So he's gonna go. So each one of these like different colored wires is gonna have a target on it. He's gonna hit this first blue one and then take a massive leap of faith jump over to the red one. And then from here he can jump back on the blue wire and make his way to yellow and orange. And then once he clears out the last 2 targets, he has to be very careful to avoid that Krabby Patty because he wants to be at 1 health because he's gonna do another death abuse. But a lot of the corner cuts in this slide level in particular are really, really scary. Sometimes what can happen
especially
is
this
if you
one.
jump, especially this one, like a weird kind of bug can happen where you lose the ability to turn, and so sometimes you just get sent into a death spiral. So he managed to set HP successfully, and so he warps back to the red wire. So hitting all those targets knocks down those lamps, which then allows him to go up through this path and into the end of the level here. Well done.
Thank you. You don't get that amazing extra that you have to die to get, but
Yeah,
you
shoutouts
press
to
onward.
all extras. Great category, except for that strat and like. I think that last extra, now that we're men, is also pretty trash. Skipped
Yeah.
away after that, but.
Yeah.
So now we're going to be going into the rematch with Dennis on David Hasselhoff's back. So this one's being done with Spongebob instead, but the same concept still applies, where we can actually damage him consecutively both when he's on the ground and transitioning from midair to on ground, like kind of like that. So he's positioning himself in a certain way so that he manipulates where Dennis is going, and as he's starting to jump, he actually just nails him with double damage there as well. Nicely done. You have to also be really careful with your positioning there, because if you're not, some enemies can start to spawn in and mess with your
Yeah.
bull shots.
And here we're gonna do some more down clips to get a token out of bounds. We don't actually need the token, but it just unlocks the warp for us for later. There we go. We're actually
And
gonna.
he's gonna grab it and then die, which cancels some of the animation as well.
Yeah.
And then right there, he sets up what's called bowl storage. So he bowls and then detonates the charge and then quits out. And so what that's going to do is it's going to store like the particle from like the charge in the game's memory until he bowls again, and that's going to be really important for setting up a glitch later. That just happens to be the most convenient place to do it.
Yeah.
Additionally, right there, you just grab the ledge and you just clip right through the wall.
Yeah, it's the easiest.
It's really easy.
Easiest out of bounds in this game, for sure.
And then right here, he does another sort of similar concept where he gets stuck underneath the floor, but as Patrick, he can actually throw in some really short-length cartwheels
and
in order to get some extra speed.
You can just randomly clip out there. It's great. I found that strat.
That's nice. In any percent, we would actually use that strat to get a token that's loaded underneath the map and then warp, but because this is early powers, we can just book it straight to the end of that first half of... And that skips a boatload of the level. This level is really long casually.
Yeah, it's very broken though. Like I think like every category has like a different plank because it's just so versatile.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite levels to run through too. It also gets really scary when you're on like a good pace because it's cool, but it's also really hard.
Yeah, these spikes here actually have very high hitboxes, higher than they look. So, or I think I just missed a wall jump there, but that was unfortunate.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that you can tackle this room. I think you do the damage boost strat here, right? Yeah. So what he's gonna do is jump over this enemy, and then using that rocket from the enemy that just spawned in, is gonna turn around so that the damage boost actually sends him forward into the level because damage will send you in the opposite direction of where you got hit from, or where you were facing rather. And so he does that and combines that with a double jump while he's still on the ground in order to get enough distance to cross. And so now, so you do the puzzle here, if I remember correctly. It is possible to skip this. But he's actually going to do it on purpose to set up for another one of those guitar glide clips. So again, we're going to be wall clipping with another lag clip, while also activating a guitar glide on this leftmost wall here. He nails it first try. And so, again, he's got that hover state active and gets through the wall, so he's just hovering out of bounds. And then he's looking for a ledge over here so that he can cancel this state. Like we mentioned earlier, guitar gliding gets canceled by landing on a surface. And then once he gets here, he can do another upwards lag clip in order to get back up on top. And then because we came from that unintended entrance, none of the enemies here are going to load in, so he's going to do another one of those bash boosts. So after he takes damage from the lava, he's holding down the bash button, and for free, it just buffers the bash input on the first possible frame. And, we're going for a statue bash. Nice. So that's a same kind of thing, but he does it on the bolt of lightning that the statue mini-boss sends in, and absolutely nails that. That was a really solid level there. Again, playing topless, really scary.
Yeah, this is probably my second favorite level in this category. It's great. But here we're gonna do Mindy skip. You gotta warp to Spongebob level here, and because we did, it didn't let me pause, but
it's not a big deal.
But we're gonna hold down A and R here. And we're actually controlling the paddy wagon while talking to Mindy here, and you can actually get grabbed by Hans, which is the out of bounds detection, and this allows Mindy skip to work.
So you'll see, so normally you need 50. You didn't quite get it.
Should work the second try. I think it works the second try every time if I set it up correctly.
Yeah. So essentially, so when Oofster was doing that bull storage earlier, where he reloaded into playing Topless and then quit out of the level while he detonated the bull charge, that particle effect being still loaded into the game's memory allows this trick to be possible. We're not exactly sure why that's a prerequisite. This trick was found by complete accident, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna fall into the pit again. Whenever you're talking to Mindy in any level, you have control over your character, and you're just kind of held hostage. And you're gonna see he slides into the level, and it looks like we're in the ring challenge and the time challenge at the same time. Because again, we're doing some really fancy schmancy memory manipulation stuff that we have no understanding of.
Yeah, and what it does there, it loads like a garbled version of this level where all the challenges are loaded at the same time, but I rewarped in the level to get rid of that, and
so otherwise it'll soft lock you.
Yeah. So
so normally being able to enter this level is a 50 token requirement, and we just get that.
Yep. So, if you didn't notice, this is actually the first driving level backwards, just with the new cut of paint. But, it's interesting because doing mini skip actually makes it so you can't do the other challenges. Like, if I tried to 100% knucklehead, I couldn't do it because of the mini skip.
Interesting. I didn't realize that was the thing.
Yeah, because like after you finish this first token here, like you're not like it spawns you in the same version of knucklehead, basically like the first token again.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it just doesn't give you anything once you complete the level. But yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately this driving level doesn't have like too much that in the way of like you know, like the out of bounds skip like we saw when we were going through.
It's kind of the calm before the storm that is Neptune.
The final boss. Yeah.
Actually,
I think there is in theory a way to go out, like I think I remember finding a way of going out of bounds in the park area here, but it's like impossible. And like I don't even know if it'd be fast.
There's a way to do park skip on Xbox, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so one of the things as well between versions is like different versions have different driving speeds. So like there are some like all like the driving animals in this game are played on the GameCube version because the GameCube version just has the fastest driving speed. Like
I think I'm gonna need to get some extra menus from like SCDA or something. Why did I? It'll be fun. Yeah, because I'm like 50 mainly short. I still have to upgrade guitar.
Yeah, not a huge deal. It's like we can just warp right out of Neptune.
Yeah, there's a stack right at the beginning of SCDA.
Yeah, so if you actually saw right there that the particle effect for the bubble bomb, not the bubble bomb, wrong Nicktoons game.
Bubble bomb.
Yeah, I have Nicktoons Unite on the dome right now. My bad. But you can actually see like the bowling ball particle effect is even still loaded in there into the fight. If you see like that sphere looking thing, oh, I guess it's gone. Oh, there it is.
There he is.
I guess it's just like spawned in at like 0-0 or something like that. I assume 0-0 is like the center of the room or something. But anyway, Neptune, this boss is really hard. Speedrun wise, it's pretty tricky too, but in terms of like phases, it's kind of like an inverse order of difficulty. The first phase actually tends to be the hardest, because what Oofster is trying to do is do this all in like two like major like flamethrower cycles. And so, like, get around there, and in order to, like, keep moving around while because, like, the flamethrower, like, is pretty close behind you at, like, all times. So he, like, does, like, these little micro adjustments to, like, lean back a little bit, so it gives him more opportunity to run forward. And then right as he's about to land, he does, like, the tilt back, so that he doesn't take damage. So there's 3 of these flamethrower hits that you gotta see. And you also have to make sure that you get all those tables before he goes into the sniper rifle mode. And if you take damage during any of the phases, his attack cycles reset at the start. So it becomes kind of like a snowball effect where it's like you just end up like if you like the better like the further you go into that phase, and you mess up, like you lose even more time because you're just sitting there.
Yeah, that first phase is definitely the hardest one, and you're right, it definitely can snowball because it's like it resets the entire cycle again and can lose you like almost a minute if you get hit sometimes.
Yeah, the nice thing with the electricity fields is you can actually kind of manipulate where Neptune is going to spawn it, because it'll spawn the center of it kind of roughly where Spongebob was standing during a certain part of his animation. And there's a finite radius to it, so he actually did it right there where he manipulated the position of it, so he can just wander around with it. The bubble ball for swag.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's really hard for beginners and casuals as well, but once you have like the cycles memorized and how to jump around some of the longer strains of electricity, it gets a lot easier to manage. And now we're going into final phase here, so.
Get copyright rock.
Yep.
Yeah, this Goofy Goober Rock is actually copyrighted, but it's probably the best final boss music ever. in my opinion.
It's so hype.
It's up there.
So there's so this phase is most people consider it the easiest. What Oofster is doing as a matter of like a safety precaution is actually killing the spitters by manipulating them to a certain spot and then timing bashes, so he just bashes over the electricity at a consistent rate. But there is actually a consistent way of manipulating the spitters to just never hit you. A lot of runners just choose not to go for it because it's a bit riskier that way. I'm gonna hit the spitters because I'm cool, but
yeah,
I guess it's
since
just
you have
the only cool
since
person.
you have time to hit the spitters, like there's not really a reason not to.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, we're actually coming up on the end time of the run. Time ends when Neptune's health goes to 0.
Yeah, so we'll get ready on time soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can actually point your camera down at the floor and it deloads the damaging part of the hitbox. It's funny.
Timing ends right about now.
Nice, GG's.
GG.
Alright. What was your final time?
44:46.
Nice, that's pretty
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Considering...
World record's about 41:01, so that was really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'd like to thank Jaxler for commentating and License-a-thon for having us. That was great.
Yeah, good job, and thank you for letting me join on last minute.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah, no, thank you. Really came in clutch. But
Yeah, hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us.
I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. Thanks, Mindy. I've learned a few things.
I'd like to shout out the movie community. Purple is the world record holder of most categories in this game, and also my mom, because I think she's watching.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you all go follow Oofster as well. He plays this game alone on stream, and he's also really, really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Go follow him.
Follow Jaxler too, he's pretty cool.
At your own risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Enjoy the rest of the event.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, Oofster and Jaxler. Next up, you.